Hello, boys and girls. This is Voodoo Magic, the Retro Game-a-Holic, bringing you a game between MRJobe and Vishy Anand. His real name, and I'll tell you a little bit about him. He was challenged by Magnus Carlsen and lost several years ago for Magnus to become the world champion. Vishy Anand, held the title for a few years, and it was a really good set of games. You should watch them. I might post them later on. The games between Magnus and Vishy. I'm not really good at pronouncing his name, but if you see here, you will see that. Hold on, what was that? Dang, what was this? Okay, all right. Okay, that's not good. So anyway, Vishy Anand. Like is that a marathon with a Vishwan? Vishy, they call him Vishy, which I don't know if he likes that or not. That's kind of fishy to me. But he was born, 11th December 1969. He's actually 1 year younger than myself, which makes him a really smart person. He is an Indian chess master. I didn't think they were supposed to be calling people Indians. I thought that was un-PC. But anyway, so he was a former world champion. He became first grandmaster from India. Very astute, very amazing. And he had his top ELO rating was past 2,800, which is a great rating. Okay, so let me first show you one of the things. So he's going to be facing MRJobe in the FIDE Elementary Cup of the Southern Jenish Washington Siganon Cup. It's really hard to pronounce. It's a Celtic name. But let me show you one of the things that MRJobe sometimes, in order to throw off his opponents, does some different tactics prior to the game in order to get into the mind and kind of mess with the mind of his opponents. He doesn't always do this, but sometimes he likes to throw a little thing at his opponents prior to the game. So let me show you one of those. This is a video of actually what MRJobe had done. He hired his sister to come upon this Vishy, as he said here, next to his wife, and so let's just show you what happened here. This is amazing.
Tudo bom? Desculpa atrapalhar vocês. Eu posso pedir uma ajuda?
Now he comes up to talk. She comes up to talk to Vishy, holding up a bottle like she needs him to hold the bottle for. Now watch this. This is great. This is great.
Passa aí pra mim.
Now she wants him to put her on her butt, and he's like, he likes it. He likes the sight of that, but the wife, of course, gets really angry and was actually starts pounding on Vishy, as you see, just pounding on him. It's really sad, but I'll get back to the video. But that was the tactic he took, and what a nice, yeah. So wow. So let's get back and start the game. Now Vishy didn't know that MRJobe had actually done this, and in fact he was pretty much on his. I would assume that girl was on his mind during the game, and of course before, and he didn't spend a whole lot of time preparing. That's what he said after the game because of that incident. He found out that MRJobe had actually staged that, and he of course was not that happy about it. But his wife, the problem was that Vishy's wife pretty much tore into him. Why were you looking at that girl? Well, come on, people. Look at the girl. What do you expect? So, don't get mad at the man for being a man. Get mad at the girl for doing what she did. In fact, when he found out that MRJobe done this, he was pretty furious for a while, except when he realized, well, the girl was good looking. So anyway, let's get on with the game. MRJobe playing Vishy Anand. MRJobe kicked off with E5. E5 does invade the space very quickly against Vishy. So Vishy comes up and he wants to block that coming any further and to cause any problems with his structure. He goes in and blocks it so he can get his queen and his bishop out if he wants. Now MRJobe decides to go ahead and play a pawn up so the bishop can come out this way, but he goes ahead and brings it out to here. Doesn't really matter. MRJobe moves a pawn up using the finagle defense. Finagle defense is where you actually finagle your way into the camp of the opponent. So where does he go? he brings this back down here, and he does continue to attack. That MRJobe comes up and then protects it, of course. This pawn came down, so he has a way to come here and attack that in case he wanted to, and then MRJobe comes up with the double protection of this pawn and now protecting that pawn in case this one comes down. Now, that's what exactly happened. He came down. So one of the rules of chess you need to pay attention to is that just because someone moves down, you don't necessarily take. You need to be the one. You want to be the one that retakes, because then you end up with a higher position on the board, closer to the other player. So Vishy had an idea, though, that kind of changed this particular thing. He goes ahead and takes. He had an idea with his queen and his king and his knight and his rook and his bishop and his other knight and his other rook. And these pawns were very important in his plans how to continue the game. MRJobe decides that he is going to go ahead and take it with his knight. He does leave this one unprotected, but... And that's exactly what he did. He went ahead and moved his queen up, but then it comes up to be protected by the pawn. He goes ahead and takes, but now MRJobe has the advantage on the board. Now, if you'll notice, the development of MRJobe is tremendous here, absolutely tremendous. And he goes ahead and he moves his knight up, so now he has even more sway over the board, as you see. Now, the knight's moved up, but this is a pretty amazing move by MRJobe. He moves up his knight here, and he's positioning his knight to go there and just pretty much be right in the face of everything of Vishy. He decided not to take this knight because of the plans that he had. Now, he has to move the queen now. To protect something. He's got to do something with his queen, so he moves it down here to attack the knight. But that is met with a fork of the knight of the king, because basically he had to do that, and I could go into the deep details of why, but I'm not going to. So he's forking them. Of course, that causes the king to have to move. Now the king can't castle, and MRJobe takes the queen. Takes the cake, actually. So Vishy decides he's going to do something with his knight, because it really can't go anywhere. Look at this. The queen's protecting these pieces. So he decides to move here. Excuse me. Now this is one of those games where if you watch it, if you look at it, you will see it. So pay attention. Pay close attention to what's going on. Now he moved this piece up here in order to attack the pawn, but that's quickly blocked by the bishop to attack the pawn. Now white actually has two black bishops. Now MRJobe decides to go ahead and move his bishop up to attack the king. The king moves here, right? And then the pawn comes up, and he decides to take the knight. It's retaken, very retaken. Then MRJobe decides to fork the king and the bishop. The bishop really can't go anywhere, and so there's not a whole lot that's going to help him in this particular situation. Because he moves over here, which he has to, by the way, then we got a little butterfly thing going on right here. He does come up here, but then he's rechecked, right? And then the unforeseen occurs. Unforeseen. MRJobe decides to go ahead and move his rook up to attack the king, sacrificing his rook, but then also gaining the other rook. He moves back. So basically he doesn't have any hardly development at all. These two pieces back here are basically stuck. His pawns are in wonderful positions, though. They can move up these directions later in the game. So as long as MRJobe doesn't make some kind of if he makes blunder in any way, he'll give Vishy an opportunity to come back. MRJobe decides to go ahead and get protected. Now, you always need to use protection. Vishy attacks the pawn. It doesn't really matter, because MRJobe then places his bishop on the diagonal here, attacking the king. It's met with this move with the pawn. He goes ahead and moves up his bishop to avoid the attack from the pawn. The pawn goes ahead and attacks this piece just to get things out of the way, and there was a retake here. Now, Vishy has to be really careful now, very, very careful, because MRJobe has placed himself in a position to where he could actually deliver several different kinds of checks. One of those checks would be Bank of America. You also have various different credit unions and financial organizations like that. So you have to be really careful about that. So MRJobe decides to go ahead and move his queen up to attack the king. And as you see here, folks, this would be checkmate, except for Vishy decides to make one last drastic move and take MRJobe's queen. Very good move. Of course, it's retaken and retaken. So the last move of the game. This is the last finale of the game. Sorry about that. I don't know my F's that well. I don't like F words. So anyway, MRJobe moves his rook up to attack Vishy on the back rank. He has to move up. MRJobe plays the rook and attacks the other rook. And at this point in the game, Vishy, having lost all his pieces against pretty much, he has one more pawn, but it doesn't matter because MRJobe is soon going to start mopping up pawns with. He uses a bristle brush on his mops. Kind of different than other players. Other players might use a Swiffer or the kind of mops that that have the little rag on it that are kind of disgusting if you ever had to work in a grocery store when they're using that. But they're really good for cleaning up messes, especially spills and like mayonnaise jars and stuff that might crash to the ground. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video, showing how once again the domination of MRJobe against the other players in the field. It is astounding. I have no words to describe it. Vishy was just as angry in this as he has been in prior games playing against MRJobe. MRJobe using these wild tactics never seen before in chess. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please come back and see my other videos, watching how MRJobe destroys his opponents, one after the other after the other. The opponents, as in, like I mentioned in a previous video, they're getting frustrated with MRJobe. I mean, MRJobe has beaten AlphaZero numerous times. He has beaten Leela Chess Zero as well, Kasparov, Magnus Carlsen. He's now up 4-0 against Magnus Carlsen in the World Championship. Hopefully, he's hoping to take the title away from Magnus. He's well on his way to doing so. Anyway, so thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe to the channel. I have various other kinds of chess videos, chess learning videos, silly chess learning videos, ludicrous chess learning videos, and analysis videos of all kinds. So with this parody of chess analysis videos, I bid you adieu. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon. And until then, bye-bye.